Today's boring business cash flow is $600,000 a year. It's a land wholesaling company. To start, let's look at the seller's numbers here as listed. There's an ask price here of $1.2 million. The company does $2.2 million a year in gross revenue, and they even give you an EBITDA number here over $500,000. Listed at $1.2 million, this one's listed at 2 times annual cash flow. They're operating at 27% margin. At 2 times, they're listed at slightly below general SMB multiples, which typically sit at 2.5 times. What does the company do? They make money land flipping, owner dividing, subdividing. There's also a team of 2 in place. They're both the owners. They essentially go to folks that don't want their land anymore and buy it at a discount. They buy things for $40,000 and sell them for $75,000 to $90,000 in the market. Important to note here, this company only has 1 year of financials, so they're not going to be SBA eligible anyway. But we'll still go through the exercise on the math so you can take a look. Here's a look at cash flow available to the owner, including salary. Make sure to consider these adjustments to my left when you're taking a look at a high level. Here's a new slide, what the business looks like on a monthly basis after an SBA loan. To my right at the starting point, we have the numbers as listed. $50,000 of cash flow at a 27% margin. We get here by taking the annual cash flow and dividing it by 12. We take a look at the annual numbers here for the SBA payment, $125,000 salary, and also new CapEx and spending, and divide it by 12. Here's a look at your new cash flow, and again, this is totally estimated. You haven't got new numbers yet, but if you look at it, it's over $20,000 a year. And you might say, well, it's over $240,000 a year. That's great. But as you can see here, the after deal margin is only 11% after all the costs you have to pay. So while we came in here at 27%, we're leaving at 11%, and we're down 16% in margin from paying debt. Now, this should change over time as the debt gets paid down, but upfront, that's why most defaults happen in the first 3 years. For location, this one's based in Colorado. It's a home-based one. They mentioned it's relocatable. There's also a link to their website. There's a few markets around the US that they work in. Now for some notable highlights. As mentioned, this one's home-based. If you have industry knowledge here, it could be an interesting one if you're looking to work remote. The next thing here is profitability. At $600,000 STE and $2.2 million of sales a year, it's a nice-sized company for a 2-person operation. And finally, they really operate in a part of the market with discounted entries. They buy land value at 50% of the value and then resell it. Now let's look at some concerns. The biggest thing for me is inventory risk. They say there's a 1-month turnaround, but ultimately, land is really illiquid. As a result, they have $1 million in inventory and land. The next thing is competition. There's no barriers to entry. There's no license required to be in this industry. The final red flag for this one, it was founded in 2023, so it's only a year old. So while it looks good on profitability and some other things here, ultimately you have some questions of why they would be selling now, why the inventory is high, etc. We found today's deal with the help of SMB Agent Pro. Should save you a few hours a day of manually going through everything. They'll go through and look in your geography for you and send you automated daily listings. That's a review. If you ever want to access them, go to link in bio, and then below there's free resources.